Hello and welcome to Lauren.live, the spirituality, health, and lifestyle podcast. Hey guys, it's been a minute since I've done my own solo recording. I've had guests lined up for quite some time now, and I decided to pop on and just do a quick little episode today. Got more guests coming up next week and the following weeks, but I wanted to just come on and shoot you a hello. How are you? What are you guys up to? You surviving the summer so far? It is toasty here in Western Washington. I think the heat wave is definitely spread across a lot of the country, but we aren't used to heat like this. We have our last manageable day at 77, but it's supposed to be upwards of 100 to 108 this weekend for a couple days, 2-3 days. And let me tell you, I'm a little nervous. We do not have AC in our house. A lot of people do not have AC in older homes. Some have portable units, but it's going to make for a toasty weekend. So we're going to have to figure out ways to keep baby's room cold and our room upstairs. Luckily, we have a basement, so we'll be hanging out down there. It's a little cooler. So been trying to find an AC unit. I'm praying, I'm manifesting, I'm trying, but I'm trying to stay calm and not panic. I know we'll get through it. We'll just have all the fans on. So if you are in an area where it's pretty warm, sending you cool vibes, and we'll get through it. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and tell you what I've been thinking, what I've been up to. I hope you've been enjoying the podcast so far. We've been rolling, we've been hustling. We've had an episode every week since we've started, and it's been really fun. I've learned a lot. I've talked with a lot of neat people, and I have a lot of really cool guests lined up. So keep listening. I would appreciate if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps keep the content in the algorithm. So like and share anything you can do. I really, truly appreciate the support. I know it's annoying to listen to someone talk about subscribe to my channel, but truly, if you know anything about how platforms work, you do have to have a certain amount of listens and likes and shares and subscribers and hours viewed, if you will, to stay relevant. And my goal is to keep the positive messaging out there on the interweb. So I really do truly appreciate if you're listening to this. Your support means the world to me. But I wanted to talk about forms of meditation and just kind of what's been on my mind lately. And maybe this will resonate with you. I know a lot of you probably meditate or pray. And, I have to be honest, I've been struggling to what I used to think was like what meditation was. Like you go to a quiet place, or you do it when you're laying in bed, you sit cross-legged somewhere, close your eyes, no phones, no distraction. And you talk to your universe, the universe, excuse me, or you think about cleansing your chakras, or manifesting something in, or just sitting in silence, working on your breath work. All of those are ways to meditate, by the way. There's really no rule on how you do it. But I felt blocked the last, half a year, honestly. I used to meditate a lot with a healer that I went to, and I would see chakra colors, and I would get in a deep state of relaxation. And I really felt like, I was on like the height of my spiritual journey. I was jamming with it, and I felt blocked lately. And I had a reading actually a month ago that the medium said, you actually aren't supposed to be meditating like that right now. You don't need to do that. There's other ways you can connect with the universe and your higher self. And I found that really interesting. And it wasn't that, I don't remember how she said it. She didn't say I was above meditation. She just said, that isn't of service to you. You don't have to feel that forced feeling of having to meditate in a certain way. Do it in other ways. Work on your breath, gratitude, prayers, or, even when your eyes are open and you're out in the world, you can do things like appreciate nature, and appreciate what you're doing in that moment and just be present. And that in itself is a form of meditation. So I want to share the other night, I've been staining my deck, super glamorous. And it's been quite the project because, a lot of you have heard me talk about, I have a baby, a 7-month-old baby, which keeps me very busy. I work part-time. I've got the podcast. I have a husband. I have a house to take care of, got all the things to do. So projects take very long these days. What would have taken a weekend takes weeks because I can only do like half the deck and then have to do something else. And then I'll do a quarter of the deck and then it's got to be second prime paint or coat, So the point is, I had my husband put the baby to bed the other night. I needed a break. I just needed to put my ear pods on, jam out to some music, and I just wanted to stain my deck. I know it's wild, crazy life, but it was actually really relaxing. It was beautiful. The temperature was cooling off in the evening, and it's so light here until basically 10. So I was out there at 8. And I was just enjoying myself, listening to music, rocking out. And I was looking around and I was just so in the moment. I was looking at the trees in the distance. I have this beautiful view in my neighborhood of all these evergreen trees and all the other trees that are full in bloom, my plants on the deck. The sun was going down. The birds were chirping. I could hear kids in the neighborhood playing. And I was just so happy on my deck, painting my deck. I was so happy in that moment. And I knew I wanted to talk about this on the podcast. I know it's not some crazy adventurous story, but I just want to remind you that you can find happiness in the moment now in whatever you're doing. So I was looking around and I was truly appreciating the trees and the sky. And I just had this calm, happy feeling. And I knew in that moment that was a form of meditation, gratitude, present moment. I was just being. I was just me. So just a reminder that you can stop at any point in your day. You have the ability and the control to slow down, take a breath, look around, appreciate something. Maybe you're inside your office and you're eating a lunch. You can stop, take a breath, enjoy the food. Maybe you're eating some lunch at your desk, whatever it is. Just take a moment to enjoy the food that you're eating. What could you be grateful for in this moment? Step outside for a few minutes, look at the sky, feel the sun on your face. Do something where you force yourself to just be. Let go of everything, the email, the phone, the devices, the shows, the cleaning the house, the taking care of the kids, taking care of yourself, or errands, what do you have to do next? Just remove it all just for a couple minutes in a day. I think we can all do that. It's worth it for our peace of mind to tap into the present moment and to tap into the energy of the universe, to tap into your true self and just check in. How are you doing? Just be. And it doesn't have to necessarily be this, you don't have to force yourself to be happy. How about just be? There doesn't even have to be a feeling associated with it. Just take some deep breaths and just be. We all need to do this more often. I think it will become easier and easier the more we practice it. Sometimes I stop myself and I'm looking around at the beauty. I find a lot of my moments of gratitude and little meditations with nature. Like I said, doesn't have to be in a forest. You could be in your yard and or on your deck. Just look outside for a few minutes from inside your house, whatever it is. Take a moment to appreciate. I think it will lower our stress. It will reset if you're in a mood, any kind of mood. And I just think it's a really beneficial thing for us mentally and physically to do this. So I encourage you to find ways to be in the present moment, to practice gratitude, and to just be throughout your day. Any point of the day, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you can do it at any time. That's the cool thing about this. It's free, it's accessible. Everything we ever need spiritually is always accessible within ourselves. I think that's something I plan to talk about with my husband, actually. We're going to do an episode together later this summer. And he'll talk a lot about how he's learned you don't have to do something a certain way. You don't have to do what the church tells you or what the Book of Mormon or the Bible tells you. He was raised Mormon. We'll get into that later. But I'm not picking on those belief systems, by the way, if you're listening to this and you are a Mormon or you're Christian. I'm just saying for our personal journey, we've moved away from organized religion, and we found that everything you truly need to access God, source, yourself, the universe is within you right now and always has been. And that is such a freeing feeling. And you can still be a Christian or a Mormon or whatever religion you are and still know that whatever you need is within you. You have the access to talk to God at any time. So I encourage you to remember that, because we are trained in a society where it's separate. God is separate than you. The church is separate. The Bible, this, that. You have to go to those things for the fulfillment, but it's within you. There's so much beauty to realizing that. Yes, you can pray to God and you may not feel like that's you, but you have the power to do it within you. You don't have to have someone else do it for you. You don't have to do it a certain way that someone tells you how to do it. It's a personal thing, and it's a beautiful thing when you've found the way to access that. So anywhere you are at any time, you have the ability to give yourself freedom, step away from whatever's going on, whether it's stress and chaotic stuff, or maybe you're at a party or you're on vacation and you're having a great time. You're still engage in the moment. Take a second to just stop and look around. Where are you? What are you doing? Enjoy it. So basically, all of this stemmed from me just being on the deck and realizing, like, why don't I look around and do this even more? Like, it should be more natural. We should be doing this all more. We get so caught up in the hustle of life that we forget to slow down and just pause. Everything around us is so wonderful and beautiful, and we get so caught up in a lot of unnecessary stress and to-do lists, pressure, whether it's from work or relationships or the house or whatever it is, the demands. I'm not saying we can't just stop life and, become hippie and just live on a compound where we're in meditation 24/7. But what I am saying is we need balance, and we need to remember our true energetic source. It's within and it's around us on this earth and this universe. And we need to connect with it more. I really believe we get so distracted here on earth that we forget what's out there and our true purpose here. Many of you have heard me talk about this with guests and myself. I've spoke about it, but I do believe we are here to grow and evolve, and we picked to come here. Our souls picked to come here. We picked our lives. We picked the challenges and the joys. And yes, there's some free will mixed in there. And we feel very separate from Source or God, and we forget why we're here. But I really do believe We have what we need. It's all within us. And God is us. We are all one. And I believe there are moments and I'll just say pieces, if you will, slices of heaven on earth. I don't believe it's just here's earth and then there's hell and heaven and it's all separate and you go to one place or the next. I do believe there are moments of challenge and evil here. I do believe that there is heaven and happiness here. It's a mixture. But I had this moment the other night. A lot of it happens on my deck, apparently. We do really have a nice deck with a wonderful view of trees all around us. It's quite miraculous. I love the setting of our house. We are in a neighborhood, but we have a lot of privacy with the trees, and I'm so grateful. That was one huge thing that I loved about this house when we were looking to buy it. And I looked up at this tree that's kind of behind the house, and you can see the top half of it from our deck. The other part's blocked by the house, and it was, shimmering, and the leaves were like glistening and shimmering in the sunlight in the breeze. And I was holding my daughter, and we were looking up, and I could see that it had caught her eye. She was watching the tree kind of sway and glimmer, all the leaves in the wind. And I thought, this is a moment of heaven. This is heaven on earth. Everything in that moment was still and perfect and happy and just pure. The energy, being able to see the blue sky and the green leaves, holding my baby. She was looking, we were enjoying the moment together, loving each other, loving the earth. That's heaven. There's no pain. There's no stress. There's no anything. There's no attachment. It's just being in the moment, basking in it. Gratitude, 100%. That is heaven. Freedom, presence, energy. It's all super simple. We have access to it. But do you notice it? Are you aware of it? Because the more you're aware of it and the more you practice noticing it and allowing it to come in your life and appreciating it, the more you'll experience what I want to call a heavenly experience here on earth. A moment of love, a moment of oneness with the earth. So look around. Do you find pieces of heaven in your life? It's here for us. We just forget to notice it a lot of the time. It's something I've talked about before, and I want to dive into deeper in the future. I do really believe we've been conditioned to think a certain way, and some of that is not on purpose. It's just a way of surviving here. It's how we organize our culture. Schools have curriculums. Some of it's great. Some of it, I think, limits the way that we think. I would love to see meditation and positivity and gratitude being taught more in schools from a young age, tapping into intuition. Those are things that aren't talked about a lot. As well as in our society, a lot of people start to talk about it more, but there's a lot of people that don't even know what any of that stuff means. And, you're looked at as a woo-woo weirdo. I would love for our society to, it is happening more and more. We're awakening and accepting different ways of healing. It's beautiful. It's actually really great. But I do believe in the past, and still we've kind of been taught to live a certain way, to be attached to things. You have to do this to make this amount of money and get the big house and do this and do that to be happy. And you got to buy all these things on Prime Day and da-da-da-da. I'm not saying I'm above any of that, by the way. When I say these things, remember, it's all about balance. I bought a few things on Prime Day myself because I needed I needed things and I figured, hey, it's a great deal, but not to become obsessed and sit there all day obsessing about deals. Buy a few things, but then move on. Like, it's all balanced. Remember that. But you don't need things just because you need things. It's just because it's on sale. You don't need it. If you need it, get it. But if you don't need it and you're just buying it, it's a good deal. Like, okay, come on, let's move on. So my point is, there's so much pressure to look a certain way, do a certain thing, make a certain amount of money, all the things. And so we have everything we need within us. Work hard, build your life, do what makes you happy. But true fulfillment and peace and heaven on earth is available at any time, no matter your race, your sex, your demographic, your salary. It's available to you now in this moment. And that is the most freeing thing that I've learned on my spiritual journey. Being in the moment, being present in the now. It's all that we ever truly have. You don't know what's next, and the current moment passes by and it's in the past and you don't truly have it. You may have a memory, but right now is all we have. So we'll talk about that a lot, about the beauty of being present. So we have so much ability to free ourselves from suffering if we can just learn to be in the moment, to access heaven on earth. You'll have to forgive me. My baby woke up from her nap and I had to stop recording. Podcast, DIY style. But anyways, this is just a short little episode, checking in, saying hi, thinking of you, sending you so much love, and reminding you you have what you need inside. You have the ability to access freedom, peace, and heaven. And we're all on this crazy ride together, this place called Earth, this thing called being a human. And it's complicated, but yet it's all so simple. It comes down to love, being in the moment, and being connected to energy source, the divine creator, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. So take a moment today, take a deep breath, practice your own meditation. There doesn't have to be a rule about how you do it. I think you'll experience joy and healing and appreciation. Give yourself that gift each day, even if you don't have time to do an official 30-minute meditation. We all have a moment to breathe and a few minutes to appreciate something in your life. Make this a daily practice. So I'll be heading out on my deck to finish as much of the deck as I can tonight when baby goes down. It's kind of my downtime, and get outside before the heat starts to rise tomorrow. Wishing you all so much love and do something for yourself. Give yourself that gift of being in the moment. I send you all love and light, and catch you on here soon. We have a pretty cool guest coming up next week, so stay tuned for that. You can find me at Lauren.live, my website. Got all the platforms listed where the podcast is featured. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the places, Amazon, Google Podcast, and of course YouTube. Most of my videos are on Zoom, so I do have in-person guests where you can watch on YouTube, and obviously it's always on audio on the other platforms as well. Head over to Lauren at Lauren.live on Instagram, And I will be checking in with you guys all again soon. I wish you nothing but the best. And have a wonderful day. What are you going to do for yourself today to access divine energy, heaven on earth, a moment of peace? Give yourself that gift. Thanks again for tuning in to Lauren.live. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.